Hey guys, it's Courtney with the Kitchen Garden, and I'm going to be putting together some green bean teepees today. It's super easy and it's a great way to take your garden vertical and to save some space in raised garden beds. So it's super easy. All you really need are some stakes, and I have these coated stakes. You can use wood, really whatever you happen to have laying around. These have lasted me a couple years, more than a couple. They're kind of cracking. The coating is cracking. And then you're also going to want some garden twine. That's optional for adding some extra layers of support to your teepee. And then you also want a zip tie, MacGyver style, for the very top, just to hold it all together pretty securely. So that's all you need. Let's get started. So you want to start out by placing your stakes pointed side down. These type do have a point at the very furthest edges of where you want your teepee to be. It's the base of your teepee, and so you just want to make sure that if you want a narrower teepee, you make a narrower square. If you want a wider teepee, that you put them further apart. And if you're using a raised bed, they should sink right in. You obviously can use more than 4 if you're going for a rounder shape, if you're going to create a teepee for your children to play in, a bean teepee. But for us, 4 works here, and I'll actually do 2 teepees in this bed for 2 vertical growing towers of beans. So now let's zip tie the tops. Okay, not super difficult. Don't mind the soccer goal. We moved it to mow the grass. So these are pretty pliable. They're, if you have a thicker wooden stake, they're going to be a little more inflexible, but you want to just gather them together. Okay, kind of 2 and 2, and use your zip tie. Cinch them pretty tight. You can cut off the extra piece here, or not. Honestly, by the time your beans grow up the teepee, you won't even see them. So now let's talk about adding twine. Okay, so now you can just grow your beans up the poles that you have, or you can use some simple garden twine. If you haven't checked out my video on dollar store garden finds, that's where I get my garden twine, because inevitably I leave it outside and it swells and gets rained on. So all you're going to do is secure, if you want this extra step, secure the garden twine to the bottom of your first stake pretty tightly, and then you're just going to bring it from stake to stake, wrapping it around, occasionally maybe even retying it for extra support. You may want to try even going in different directions, and as you get back to the original, then you can kind of come up at an angle. All right, now when you get to the top, you're just gonna tie a really good knot in it, okay? You can go all the way up to the zip tie and use the zip tie, or you can stop sooner. Okay, so you might not have noticed that I have an ice cube tray. This is what I use to soak my beans in. So beans are one of the seeds that I do soak ahead of time because it helps them germinate faster. So let's get them planted. If I didn't have the string, I would only plant the beans right at the post to give them something to climb up to. But since I have the strings in place, and some of those might need to be tightened, and that's okay, you can come through and tighten them. I've never had a problem with the beans weighing the strings down. They've always held up really well. Once there's some tension on there from the beans, even if your string feels a little loose, the tension will pull and it'll tighten everything up. So I'm just gonna put the beans all the way around. So let's do it. Okay, I have a few extra and I'm going to use this for my second tower, my second teepee, and we're going to get some rain here soon, which is why I choose now to plant because they get free watering. So that's how you build a bean teepee. If you've got questions, let me know. Also make sure that you're putting your bean plants in a place that they're going to grow well. Full sun. If you didn't have your soil tested this year, I highly recommend it next year because it really lets you know if this is the right place, the right bed for your beans, which are nitrogen producing, which is always a good thing. So anyways, that's how you build a bean teepee. Thanks, guys.